Hello viewers, welcome to Physics Facilitator. So in today's class we are going to continue to learn laws of motion chapter, and already two parts of this chapter have been uploaded in our channel. Please do check that videos also. In today's class we are going to learn Newton's third law of motion. Basically, Newton's third law of motion is nothing but when an object exerts force on another object, then the second object will also exert some force on the first object, which will be equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. Okay, Newton's third law is nothing but it just explains us what happens when an object exerts force on another object. Okay, to understand this, let us take few examples like how do birds fly? Birds fly in the sky with the help of their wings, right? But what exactly happening here? When birds fly, they push the air downwards with the help of their wings. But what is happening here? The air also pushes the bird back with the same amount of force, same magnitude of force, which the bird is applying on the air in opposite direction. Ante the bird is pushing the air downward, but the air is pushing the bird with the same magnitude of force in opposite direction, that is upward. So this is the reason how the bird can fly. Okay, and how the rocket can fly into sky? It is also same. The rocket accelerates by expelling a gas on the ground. So what is happening here? When the rocket is expelling gas on the ground with high velocity, the reaction force of the gas will accelerate the rocket in opposite direction. That is, when the rocket is expelling gas downwards on the ground, the gas which is expelled by the rocket will act reactive force on the rocket in opposite direction with the same amount of force of the gas expelled on the ground. It is pushing the rocket upward. So the rocket is accelerated upward. Okay, and what exactly happens when we are walking? While walking, at each step we are exerting some force on the ground with our feet. But do you think ground also exerts some force on us? Definitely yes, ground also exerts some force on us, but it will be in opposite direction. We are exerting some force on the ground in downward direction, but ground pushes us upward with the same magnitude of force, which will be in opposite direction, that is upward direction. Okay, and let us take another example, like suppose there is a boat and a person is on the boat, and this person wants to jump on a rock which is here. Okay, so this person wants to jump on this rock. So what that person will do? He will apply some force here, right, and he will try to jump on this rock. So what will happen in this situation? Whenever the person is applying some force on this boat, the boat will also apply force on the man. In which direction? The man is pushing the boat backward and he is jumping in this direction onto the rock. So do boat also exert some force on the person? Yes, boat will also exert some force on the person, but it will be in opposite direction. Okay, the person is jumping in this direction. He is applying the force in this direction, but the boat will also exert the same force on the person, but in opposite direction. What will happen here? The person jumps onto this rock, but the boat moves away from the rock in opposite direction. Okay, but the force which the person applying to jump on the rock will be equal in magnitude to the force which the boat is applying on the person in opposite direction. Likewise, when fish swims in water, what happens? The fish pushes the water backwards, and water will also pushes the fish forward with the same amount of force which the fish is applying to push the water backwards, but their directions will be opposite. So by this the fish can move forward. So these are few examples where we observe Newton's third law of motion. So by this you can understand what exactly Newton's third law means. That is, whenever an object exerts some force on another object, the second object will also exert force on first object with equal magnitude of force but in opposite direction. Okay, so these two opposite forces are known as action and reaction pair. So in bird's case, bird's force is action force and air's force is reaction force. Okay, let us assume there are two objects A and B. Okay, Let us say these two objects have been interacted with each other. So this A object is of force FBA and B object is having a force of FAB. So what happens when they interact with each other? FBA is equal to minus FAB, right? So why we have indicated this with negative sign? Because the force FAB, that is the reaction force, is acting in a direction opposite to that of action force, right? The force FAB is acting opposite to the action force FBA. So we are indicating it with a negative sign, okay? So by this we can state that there is no single isolated force existing, okay? So Newton's first and second law of motion is applied to a single body, right? Whereas this third law applies to the interaction between two bodies, okay? So this action and reaction pair in Newton's third law always represents that there are different forces acting on different bodies simultaneously, okay? So that's all about Newton's third law of motion. I hope you have understood what is Newton's third law of motion and what it is explaining us. Okay, so that's all for today's session. In next session, we are going to complete this chapter. Okay, so please do like, share and subscribe to my channel and please support my channel. Let us meet in another amazing session.